welcome to the Knitting Project. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family and my animals. I'm recording in my kitchen for various reasons, but mainly because this is the room with the most light. It's Saturday the 13th of January 2024 and it's a really grey day. So there's no natural light anywhere, and the overheads in here are probably about the best, I think, for recording. So I may very well have to pause because my daughter's here. My husband's out, but my daughter's here, so she might turn up at some point and want to use the kitchen. So at that point I might have to pause, but I'm hoping that I'll get this done before she wakes up. So first of all, apologies for the abrupt ending to Vlogmas. That was not intentional, but our lovely friend COVID came for a visit and things just got really hectic around here. Well, not hectic, but complicated. I had to do a lot of it on my own and I was working, and anyway, you don't need to hear all my excuses. Thankfully I am back now and I'm hoping that I will stay back. I'm hoping that I'm going to record on like a Friday morning or a Saturday morning, because I don't at the moment I don't work Fridays, but that might change. I don't work Saturdays unless it's an emergency, but that could change too. So I'm gonna give you a run through of what I have been up to, not since the last podcast because that was September and I have got no clue what I finished since then. So what I'm going to do is just start afresh, clean slate, and show you what I have finished recently since the beginning of January. Right, so let's just dive into my box. I've got a little box here of finished objects and things in it. So sock blockers. Actually, I might as well start with those, mightn't I? So I've managed to finish one pair of Advent socks. So these are the Cozy Knitter 24 stripe, and I haven't done the contrast heels, toes and cuffs, otherwise I wouldn't get all the stripes in. So that's the colour I started with and that's the colour I finished with. So I literally just squeezed all the stripes in, but I love how these have turned out. And this was a slightly more difficult Advent stripe than some of the others that I was knitting. It doesn't look it on camera too much, although you can see it a little bit up there. It kind of blends. She's blended the colours, so it was really difficult to tell, especially first thing in the morning in the bedroom with dim lighting, where one colour kind of finished and the other colour started, unless it was a really contrasting one like those two there weren't, and then there's three colours there, and I struggled a little bit with the blendiness of this. It's like there's a great big, again you can actually see it in camera, on the camera. In real life these blend a lot more, so if I come back here, that's more what it looks like in real life. If we go show, like, you can see the differences, but maybe I should just show them to the camera each morning. But I love these. These will go in my box of Christmas socks for next year. And that was my first one. And then I've decided I want to try and knit loads of gnomes this year. This is inspired by my lovely friend Kate, who's also a friend of the podcast. And she had a huge display of gnomes for Christmas and I loved it. I thought it was really good. So I'm going to try and knit all of the Imagine Landscapes gnome patterns. I've got the first one, which is Never Not Gnoming, and I've done two from that. I've done the smallest one, who is called Nicholas, or Nicholas if you like. And where's his details? Here's his details. So I started him on the 12th of December and I finished him on the 24th. He's made with minis from the West Green Loft Yarns 2023 Advent calendar, which were tonals, and I really like the colour of the tonals. So I'm planning on making all of my gnomes out of those minis, so they kind of blend together. I used 2.5mm needles, and this one is actually 12 grams, and that's because he's stuffed with yarn ends. The other one is bigger but lighter, but that's stuffed with stuffing, whereas this he's stuffed with yarn ends. He's really cute. I really like him. So that's my first one, and then this is my second one. I don't know what I do with my arms, but they're waving. Or putting their arms around each other. I would be able to, it'd be quite cute, wouldn't it? I might be able to display them all with their arms around each other. But I mean, that's happened twice now. He's waving too. Oh, what I do with my arms as to why they end up waving. I'm gonna have to, and it's the same arm as well. What did I do? Obviously sewed it on a bit tight or something. Really weird. So they're both waving at you. This one is Natasha gnome? Yeah, Natasha. She is also from the Never Not Gnoming gnome pattern. And this is again by Imagine Landscapes, and these are more minis from that advent calendar, which I really love. I love the minis, they're so pretty. And I think I did a different, yeah, I did a different beard, but I think I prefer this beard. I think I prefer the pointy beard. That one I didn't get quite so pointy. So I did different beards on them. So that's my two gnomes. Oh, and hold on, let's finish with his stats. I started him on or her actually, on the 10th of January and finished on the 12th. So that didn't take me long at all, a couple of days. And on 2.5mm needles. And that's gnome 2 in my Knit All the Gnomes. And the other thing that I'm trying to do this year is knit all the knit vent patterns. So I've got a lot of the knit vent patterns, and there's a lot of knit vent patterns I have not knit. So to start that off, I have got the 2013 knit vent. Hold on. Here we are. The 2013 knit vent, and the first one I've done from there is the Red Robin shawl, which is this pretty shawl. It's the most delicate, beautiful shawl. It's as light as a feather. It's blocked out really big because this is a one skein shawl, and I had enough left over to do the massive tassels. The tassels are too big. I wish I hadn't done them as big as that, but I kind of have committed to that. And I really love it. It's done in stockinette stitch with like a really lacy border, and as I said, it's got tassels on the 3 points, so it's a triangle shawl, but it's really wearable, like majorly wearable. Now my idea with these, I'm going to stand up to show you, is that I was going to put them in a box and have a stash of presents for people throughout the year. But I love this so much, it might actually, I might have to make a second one as a present and keep this one because I really do like it. I was amazed by how much it blocked out. The yarn is beautiful too. So the yarn is the Elderflower Stitches Christmas Eve cast on box yarn in the sparkle, and it does sparkle, it's beautiful, and I love how it knitted up, so pretty. So that was my Christmas Eve cast on. Yes, it was my Christmas Eve cast on. And yeah, super quick knit. It only took me, I cast it on Christmas Eve and I finished it on the 28th of December. I was also very ill with COVID during that time, so I did not knit kind of constantly. But it was 93 grams finished weight. That includes the tassels. I used 4mm needles, and it's #1 in my Knit All the Knit Vent patterns. And yeah, I really like that. I really like it. And I had a lovely day where we had a really cold but sunny and windy day, and I blocked it on the washing line. I can show you a picture of it. And it dried. I couldn't believe it. It dried out there. So that was amazing. So that's that. So my last finished object is this, and this is still wet. This has not dried. So this is a little baby jacket. A dear friend of mine is having her first baby. and they found out they're having a little girl, and I am beginning to knit all the things for her. So this is the first thing, and this is the baby kimono. So it's got buttons on the side, and it's got a little ribbon tie on the inside. I don't know if I can quite show you that. There we go, it's got a little ribbon tie on the inside. So it's double, what's the word? It's kind of a double material. And it is lovely, but it is very wet, so I'm going to put it down. So I started that on the 5th of January and I finished it on the 12th, so that did not take long at all. It's the baby kimono by Betty Knitter. The yarn is Hedgerow Yarns Sweet Pea DK, and I did it on 4mm needles. And yeah, I absolutely loved knitting it. The yarn's beautiful. I will hold it up again just to show you the yarn. I'll show you on the back. The yarn is beautiful. It's knit. It's ever such an interesting construction. You knit one of the fronts first and put that on waste yarn, and then you knit it from one sleeve across to the other. But as you're doing that, you do incorporate the other front back into it. So at one point I picked it up and there was like 4 different things hanging off. I was like, how is this gonna work? But when I laid it down, it's like, oh, it does work. It does work. Yeah, so it's ever such an interesting construction. So if you like, you can see the back's all knit in one piece. There's no seam on the back. Yeah, very interesting construction. Really good fun to do. Would recommend that. The only thing I would say is, you know how they always say to you know, you should read ahead on the pattern, or you should read the pattern before you start. I really wouldn't with that, otherwise you'll take one look at it and go, yeah, that's not happening. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I should probably say something about what I'm wearing as well, because I'm wearing an understated. So this is the understated by Joji Locatelli. It is a boxy, so basically it's a V-neck boxy. V-neck is my favourite. And the yarn was the advent calendar from Fibre Fox for 2021. Which I love this. I love this so much. I really enjoy wearing it. And it's cold today. So that is all my finished objects, which actually is not bad, is it? I mean, most of them are kind of tiny, so it sounds good, but you know. I have only got one work in progress that's an active work in progress. I've got lots of works in progress, but this is what I'm actually working on at the moment. And this is my second pattern in the Knit All the Knit Vents. And this is the Fresh Powder Cowl by Helen Stewart. Again, this is from Knit Vent 2013. This is all available online. You can buy them all. These are patterns that are still available. Now, this yarn, I had fun trying to work out what it was, because it's a Merino Angora, and there's 169 meters. So I figure that's a DK pretty much. I mean, it's more of a sport weight, I think, but I'm doing mine in DK. In fact, I'm doing mine in a bit thicker than DK, because I am using, I need to look at what I've written down for this. I'm looking, this is Lay Family Yarn Warm and Toasty in her DK. And it's a 75-25 superwash merino. And I'm also using it, holding it double with some fleece, because the one in the picture has got a bit of a halo on it. So I thought I'd just add some fleece to it. I was going to add mohair, but I decided I wanted the softness of the fleece. Again, this is beautiful, and I'm beginning to think that I may end up keeping it, which is not the point of this exercise at all. The point of this exercise is to get ahead for next year's Christmas presents. But this is knitting up so beautifully. So I'm only on the rib. There's a little bit of rib each end. So I'm only on the rib. But oh, it's so pretty. I love Kelly's colours so much. So it's all very delicate, and I don't know if you can see how pretty it is in real life on the camera. It's all these pops of pinks, and I'll show you the yarn. Yeah, there's these deep pops of pinks that are just going to stand out against the floof, and I love it. And it's partially cabled as well, so that'll be an interesting exercise to see what how well I can cable with floof. Holding it double. I've got my little notions pouch in here from So Sweet Violet. That was part of the Knitters Advent this year, and this was the Knitters Advent bag. I think it's suitably not Christmassy enough that I can actually use it all year round. So that's the one that's in at the moment. And that is what I will be working on this week. We'll see whether I get that done before the next time I podcast. I just need to change my battery because my battery's about to die. So sorry if the background's changed, but I needed to change my camera battery. So I've got a new segment called Frog It, Finish It, or Fudge It. Frog it, I get rid of it and reclaim the yarn. Finish it, I put it into the active whip section. And fudge it means it was supposed to be something, but I'm going to turn it into something else. So I have no clue what's in this bag. This is a bag from Busy Pottering. I mean, I think it's more of a winter bag than a Christmas bag. Or maybe even an Easter bag, to be fair. Maybe I could call it an Easter bag because it's got cow parsley on it and a hare. So maybe we'll call this the Easter bag. I've got no clue what's in here. Okay, so what is this? This is a, well, it's suspiciously like a blanket. A blanket with no name. Okay, I've obviously nicked the needles out of it because that's on what appears to be a bulb stitch marker, yet there are needles in here. I don't know what this is. Honestly, do not know what this is. It's some kind of blanket, and it is only just started. So I think we'll put this under the, we'll frog this one. The pattern hasn't got, I can't show you it because it's just the pattern. So it's got all the pattern details on it, but it doesn't say whose the pattern is. I think it might be Laura's one, but I don't want to say that for definite, so don't know who the pattern is. It's very pretty, but I do not need another blanket, so I'm going to reclaim the yarn on that one. These are my 3mm, are they? Yeah, my 3mm signature needles, so if I've got another blanket that can take straight needles, and I can use those, my signatures for that. So we'll reclaim those. And in here, let's have a look, see what we've got. We've got some ends of yarn. So low, this is a bit like a what's in the bag. I've got ends of yarn, so I shall reclaim them with their balls. And then I've got what appears to be a countdown of something. I'm thinking this is probably Lay Family Yarn. A Lay Family Yarn countdown of some kind. 12 days. So I'm gonna reclaim the yarn, set it all back up again as a little countdown box, and do something different with that. I've got various stitch markers in here as well. I've got quite a little collection of them. Some paracetamol and a pair of scissors. So that's what's in that bag. So I think under the Frog-It, Finish It or Fudge It, it's going to be a Frog-It. And I'm going to do that as soon as I finish the podcast so that it's done and I don't have it lying around. And then, you know, in 2 years' time when I do another one of these, I'm like, oh, look, that was the one I decided to frog 2 years ago. So that's going to go, and then I can reclaim this as an Easter bag because I'm swapping out all my Christmas bags. Okay, so that is now all over the table in front of me. We'll just move that to one side. Nothing to see here, guys. Right, and what's next on my list? Happy Mail. I have only got one little bit of Happy Mail because it's been Christmas and I had enough yarn over Christmas. And this is the Spectrum Fibre Monthly Club. And this is the yarn. So this is Quality Streets, Twisted Sock. So I think this is December's. I have paused this temporarily because this subscription, because I need to get my office cleaned out before anything else tries to come into it. I am using the principle of if I've finished yarn, I can buy up to the limit of what I've finished. So I don't increase my stash, but I do. It kind of stays at the same level. That doesn't include anything I have already signed up for. So I've got a cozy January box from Lay Family Yarn, that's not included. And I think I've got 2 Sherry Iris boxes which I've not opened yet. They're not included. So that's just, I'm going to unravel in February, and the idea is that the amount of yarn that I have got finished in this book is my limit that I can, I'm grinning at myself here, is my limit that I can buy. However, one of the things in this book was Charlie's blanket, which was 712 grams. So that's like 7 kgs of yarn. It's not much of a limit, is it? Honestly. Maybe I should include those ones I've just said that I'm not including. Right, so this is my new knitting journal. It is a notebook that you can get from Amazon. It does not have a name, a discernible name, but I will try and link it below in the show notes. There might be show notes if you're lucky. If not, email me on scr1tno@outlook.com and I will tell you what it is. So it's got it's got a sheep sticker in the front that came from Jenny of Woolly Goodness, and obviously does not come in the book. And then it has got a contents page. Now it hasn't got enough of contents pages for my liking, so I've done a bit of bookbinding, which I was really pleased with. I got Ian to print this out, so he's taken a scan of these pages, obviously when they were blank, and he's printed it so that I've got enough pages for every page in the book for contents pages. Probably won't need that many because, like, if the podcast notes went over X amount of pages, I'd probably just go podcast notes X page to X page, but I might not, and today's podcast notes did not. So what have we got in here? I have got my Turkish Delight shawl, which I made for the lovely Paula of the Stitch by Mrs. D podcast, and I've got a couple of spoilers in here, so I'm going to be careful. That's got the FO pictures at the back, so it's got all the details that I want on that page, and it's got the FOs on that page. This is the marzipan mouse hat. Turn that over, and that's the FO pictures. Wasn't my favourite make, that, I have to say. Then this was a hot water bottle cover. Again, this is a present and it hasn't made it to its owner yet, so I need to hide who it's for, and then that's the FO pictures. This is the Cozy Knitter socks, and that's the FO pictures. And just to show you, it's not all FOs, that is not a finished object. I have not finished the Yarn Badger socks, and it hasn't got FO pictures. But later on, we have got things like, that is the baby kimono, and that's its FO picture. So my goal with this is I am about to start tidying up my office, and when I come across a WIP, I'm going to write it into here, and in the front of this, in the contents page, there we go, I'm going to have what page number it's on, what it is, and then once it's highlighted, it's done, I've finished it. So if it's highlighted, it's a finished object. If it's not highlighted, it's a WIP. And with what I'm doing, I'm doing a little rotation. There's a surprise. It had to be a rotation in there somewhere, didn't there? And the idea is I'm going to make a gnome, do a knit vent pattern, finish a WIP, and do my frog it or finish it. So I'm feeling like there's something else in there. Knit vent, gnome, frog or finish, baby knit, and a baby knit. So whether the baby knit is for my friend and her baby, or it's for Kate and Ira, well, it'll be one of the two, but it'll be a baby knit. However, I have a small fly in the ointment in as far as Meg wants a ballet cardigan, and I wanted to make, there's a really, Amy Loudon, who is the little Tailoress, or Tailoress Studios, I think she is now, has a really good crossover cardigan pattern. I love her patterns because they're so hand-holdy. And I'm just going to do it in a commercial yarn, in an acrylic, because she's going to use it to work out, well, to rehearse, so she's going to need it to be washable and tumble dryable. So I'm going to grab some probably Stylecraft DK, or whatever weight is called for on this pattern. So at some point I need to put that into the rotation somehow. I need to work out how to do that, because she really wants one. Yeah, so she really wants one. I also would like to put some sewing into the rotation as well, but we'll see how that's evolved next week or the week after. With what I'm doing, if it's going to take me a long time to finish something, I might have a longer gap between the podcasts because I haven't got as much to show you, but we'll see. Weekly would be lovely because it makes them so much more of a manageable length to edit. So they might not all be heavy knitting content. There might only be like one thing to show you knitting wise, but then I'll probably show you more of my knitting journal. There should be a frog it and finish every week for at least for a little while because I have so many WIPs, and it'd be nice to get them all in this book as well. I'd like to get all my WIPs in one place, although I think it will be quite scary to see how much I've got outstanding to finish. I also think to have them organised would be really nice. I might actually make a note of what project bag they're in, because that would be useful information to have if I'm trying to find that particular WIP, wouldn't it? So that might be something I add to it. Actually would have been quite useful a couple of times recently where I couldn't remember what project bag I put what in, so I might just make a note of the project bag as well on that. So that's it from me. Hopefully it's a decent length. I'm going to try and keep these about 30 minutes long, so I actually have not too much to edit and I don't get too overwhelmed by them. Thank you so much for sticking by me, for those people that have. I'm sorry, as I said, the Vlogmas just failed, and it's my favourite thing to do of the year, so that was sad. I was very sad about that, but you reach a stage where things just, you have to just let things go, and that was one of the things I just couldn't do. I've learned a lot of lessons this year for next year, let's put it that way. Anyway, I hope you're all okay wherever you are. Take care, and I will see you next time.